It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning and welcome to Wednesday Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the 5th day of April, 2023, coming to you from Central Virginia area, right near Lynchburg. We do have a special guest this morning who has not made it to the green room yet. So we're going to continue on, and she's been here long enough. She'll pop in and we'll just take a stop and go let her in the house when she gets here. We do have a number of news items today we'll get to at some point in the broadcast. The headlines today is Virgin Voyages in financial trouble. Brazilian police arrest a crew member. Princess and Caymus Vineyards announce a partnership. We talk about global ports holding yesterday in the Americas, mainly Nassau and Antigua. They also have some projects going in the Western Med. Norwegian clarifies the fan prohibition, sort of. And Lee Mason is on his way back to the Carnival celebration. That and a lot more here this morning at 11 o'clock today. And today, by the way, folks, is National Deep Dish Pizza Day. Have become more of a fan of thinner crust pizza. But I go back, 100 years ago when I was in school, a couple times a week, we'd get deep dish pizza. And it was always really good. So I'm surprised that I don't spend a little more time with deep dish pizza. So at any rate, let me pop over and make sure that I haven't heard anything from Kristy. No, I haven't this morning. And she's a different time zone than I am. We might have had time interest confusion, which happens with me a lot, as most of you know. But anyway, I'll keep popping over and checking for when Kristy pops in. So if you're listening via the podcast, you're always welcome here. Of course, the podcast is, again, it's my biggest numbers as far as my audience goes. So you can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcast from. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the Fat Travel Guy. So you can always, if you're watching or listening via the podcast and want to hop over to the video feed, just go to the description of the podcast, and that link will be there to do just that. So, all right, I'll be back with today's news while I'm waiting for Kristy, and hope Kristy makes it today. That maybe I didn't have the wrong day or something just totally ridiculous. But at any rate, we'll be back after a word from Scoot Around.
Do you have a bad back, bad hips, bad knees, or any other mobility issues? Think about Scoot Around. For scooters, walkers, wheelchairs, even oxygen needs, delivered right to your cabin. Scoot Around for all your mobility needs on your upcoming cruise.
That's the folks from Scoot Around. I'm getting down now to almost down to 3 weeks till my next effort, which of course is going to be the Norwegian Joy that I'm hosting with my buddy Justin from Mr. Bucket List. He and I are, as a matter of fact, we're going to get together tonight for some of our planning that I have been a little lax on lately due to health issues. So he and I are going to meet tonight to finalize our plans for how we're going to be working things on the Norwegian Joy on May the 1st. Looking forward to that, of course. I'll be back with today's news after a quick word from one of our network sponsors. All right. Today's top story has to deal with our friends over at Virgin Voyages. And this came from a totally unrelated source of sorts. But according to Sky News, Virgin Voyages is planning a new investment round involving new and existing investors, with the company looking for hundreds of millions of dollars. Although it's too early to determine the scale of the fundraising or the mix of debt and equity that movement might involve. Virgin Voyages' latest talks about raising funding come just 7 months after it secured $550 million from investors. With 2 ships in the pipeline for this year, one of which has already been delayed, it's not unlikely the company needs funds to make it to the end of the year. This disclosure of Virgin Voyages' talks to secure new capital comes just days after Virgin Orbit, Sir Richard's commercial satellite business, announced it would lay off the majority of its staff and cease operations due to a lack of funds. Bronson injected $11 million into the business this week to fund the redundancies of nearly 700 staff members. Despite the financial issues, Virgin Voyages has been extremely successful in doing what it set out to do. From the get-go, Virgin has been a company that has shaken up the cruise industry and has proven that a new cruise line can show up and be successful. The adults-only cruise launched in 2021 following a 15-month delay caused by COVID, with its maiden journey from Portsmouth in August of that year. The company operates 2 cruise ships now, the Scarlet Lady and the Valiant Lady, with the 3rd vessel, the Resilient Lady, set to launch next month, and the 4th, the Brilliant Lady, due out later this year. Virgin Voyages continuing to sail, with the company adding a new destination in the Caribbean in January of 2024. Virgin will be adding Antigua and Barbuda, showing the cruise line is continuing to develop its product despite the investments that Virgin is seeking. All right, our second story today comes from down south. Brazil's federal police yesterday arrested a cruise ship crew member at the port of Santos on charges of theft and extortion. The suspect, a Brazilian national, had allegedly stolen a passenger's notebook and attempted to extort money from the victim, federal police said in a statement. The passenger reported the crime to the authorities, prompting a search of the ship by police. They were able to identify and locate the thief, who granted access to his cabin. There they found the stolen notebook valued at 7,000 Brazilian reals, or about $1,400 US. The notebook was returned to its owner and the crew member was taken into custody. Sorry about the choking there, folks. Goodness. He was sent to the Provisional Detention Center in São Vicente and is now at the disposal of the 5th Federal Court of Santos to answer for his crimes. These offenses in Brazil carry a sentence of imprisonment ranging from 2 to 8 years and 4 to 10 years, respectively. The police did not disclose the name of the ship on which the crew member was working. All right, our third story this morning, and I just checked to see if Kristy was here. Unfortunately, she's not. Princess Cruises announced a new partnership with Caymus. I'm not sure on the pronouncer of that. Caymus Vineyards, a renowned Napa Valley winery. Starting this month, guests on Princess ships sailing North American itineraries will have the opportunity to indulge in exclusive Caymus Vineyards winemaker dinner. The dinner will take place in the Crown Grill, Princess Cruises' specialty restaurant, and will feature a 5-course menu perfectly crafted to complement the tasting notes of Caymus Vineyards wines. Chuck Wagner, owner and winemaker at Caymus Vineyards, will personally curate the wine pairings for each course. This immersive dining experience is priced at $140 and will be available to only 12 guests per seating, offered 2 to 3 times per cruise. In addition to the winemaker dinner, Caymus Vineyards is also working with Princess to refresh the wine menu at the Crown Grill. So, a nice little new partnership between Princess and Caymus Vineyards, which is sure to be a hit with foodies and wine lovers alike. All right, yesterday we talked about a Global Ports Holding, the largest cruise operator in the world, and their projected success in Antigua and Nassau. So too are improvements to 3 Western Mediterranean ports of Alicante and Tarragona in Spain, and Las Palmas in the Canary Islands. All are undergoing some major renovations and expect huge increases at all 3 ports in 2023. When fans were recently added to the Norwegian cruise line prohibited list, the inclusion only read all types of fans, including handheld, battery-operated, electric, etc., which indicated that every type of fan, no matter its size or power source, would not be permitted on board. Now the list item has been clarified to read, and I quote, all types of fans with the exception of small electrical and battery-operated fans. While there's no specific size listed as acceptable, the list does go on to state that fans are subject to confiscation by the ship's security team for inspection and approval. Small is a subjective measurement, and fans come in a range of sizes from very tiny handheld personal fans that may run on AA batteries and measure just a couple of inches in diameter to large towers and box fans that and standalone fans with oscillating heads. It's fair to consider that most fans labeled specifically as portable, personal, or travel may be acceptable, while larger models are more likely to be rejected. But we don't know that for sure, because they still haven't totally specified what's going to be good and not good. For a guest who might want to bring a fan on a Norwegian cruise ship, it's best to bring the smallest possible fan that will meet your needs. Choose a travel size fan or a small portable fan if possible, and try to make sure it's the latest upgraded model that might use the least amount of electricity and be the most energy efficient, and you still might have the fan confiscated. That's Norwegian for you. Nothing ever seems to be completely explained. All right, the last story today has to do with a gentleman that I like a lot. That's Lee Mason. Some of you may have been on ships with him in the past. One of Carnival Cruise Line's most popular directors has returned to lead the fun squad aboard the Carnival's flagship, Carnival Celebration. Lee Mason has begun his new contract assignment with the cruise line, bringing his distinctive brand of fun and charismatic energy to the ship. He officially took back the microphone for Carnival Celebration this week with the ship's Sunday departure, a 7-night Eastern Caribbean sailing from Miami to Puerto Plata, San Juan, and St. Martin. Mason was the first cruise director assigned to Celebration when the ship debuted, and now takes over from another of the cruise line's most popular cruise directors, Chris the Fly-In Scotsman Williams, who is now himself between contracts and enjoying a little family time. I've been lucky enough to have been on ships with both of them, and they are awesome cruise directors. They have an energy that's just different. They're funny and fun, and you find them all over the ship all the time. I like both of them a lot. So, all right, that's going to wrap up the news portion of today's show. I will point out that my guest today was supposed to have been Kristy Durso. Kristy, of course, is the owner-operator of Incredible Memories Travel. She's a disability advocate. She recently was on a group checking out accessibility issues in Portugal, a group of 6. And last week, she was the keynote speaker at the National Tour Association. I have a feeling we have the wrong day is what's going to happen, which could have been Kristy's mistake or my mistake. She and I met on another issue Monday morning, and I thought we were talking about this Wednesday. It might be next Wednesday. I'll have to check with Kristy, and we'll straighten that up. All right, let's see who's fussing at me over in the chat room. Yo, Brooklyn in the house. Hey, Eddie. Hot Air Tom is here. Mike's with us. Good morning, Mike. Yeah, it's quantify small fan. I got no idea on that one, Hot Air Tom. I mean, it might be something like really small. Dennis says Chicago deep dish pizza, or do you mean thick crust? Yeah, from Sicily. Excuse me, Dennis. I recommend the deep dish sausage patty pizza from Gino's East in Chicago. I like Chicago deep dish pizza too when I've been to Chicago. And they do it a little different than any place that I've ever had it anywhere in the world. So I got to agree with Dennis on this one. Chicago, I don't think I've ever been to Gino's East in Chicago, but I've had some awesome deep dish pizza in Chicago. Nikki's with us, just popping in to say hello. They're out running errands. All right, Nikki, we'll let you off the hook today. Caymus Vineyards. Okay. Oh, yeah. I was wrong on the pronunciation. Thank you, Dennis. Oh, boy. Hoping Chillie does not have CD Alvin on the Joy. He's a dude for low energy, in my opinion. Simon is the next on the dud list. We all need now is Theodore. The Simon is he the cruise director on Joy? I'm not familiar with him, but yeah, I don't. It doesn't matter to me because I'm going to do my thing on Joy anyway, and so will Justin. So if we got a cruise director that wants to help out with the solo crowd, we'll be happy to work with them. It does not necessarily have to be with our group, as we want to attract a lot more solo folks into the cruise family. So we'll see. Amy's with us, says howdy. Of course, everybody's now hollering at Amy. So let me check again. Nope, I still don't have Kristy with us. This is probably going to come out, folks, being another error from the Fat Travel Guy. Is Virgin Voyage another failed Virgin scheme from Richard Branson? I met him when I was a lad and then turned to my father and said, this bloke is a prat. Yeah, well, I don't think it's that bad yet. You didn't get the chipmunk reference. Okay, no, I didn't. Sorry about that. Hot air. I don't think it's that bad yet. But I mean, it worried me when I saw the article and the reference to the failed space venture. So the only cruise director that are memorable worked for Carnival. Yeah, well, that's true. They seem to have the best in that area locked up. And I do remember Carnival cruise directors when I may not remember excellent cruise directors on other lines. So that's a very good point, Amy. All right, that's going to wrap me up for today. Again, by tomorrow, I'll find out what happened with Kristy, and we'll reschedule whenever that was supposed to have happened. So, and again, it was probably my mistake. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. I'll be back same time, same channel tomorrow with Thursday travel and cruise industry news. Tomorrow afternoon, we will have the Cruise Amigos. That's it for today, guys. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. Have a fabulous day, everybody.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.